You don't need another marketing hack. You don't need another expert to come in and do some magical thing. You need to be seen. Visibility creates opportunity, and opportunity is what creates your income. And we're going to spend some time talking about that today. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. With over 40 years, well, nearly 40 years of experience helping people as a marketing expert, I've worked with nearly 5,000 people writing, publishing, marketing their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. I have 39 number one international bestsellers of my own, and I'm here today to share with you, to show you specifically and exactly why it is that your book is not selling, why your book isn't doing the thing that you wanted it to do. Visibility is going to beat strategy every day. And even more so, it's going to blow the doors off of anything that AI can do, because AI cannot replace you. Okay, so let's even talk about deep fake type of videos. We've all seen them. Some of them are pretty cool, and I really enjoy what I've seen of some of them. And you can get pictures of things and create like videos that you would think it was specifically that person. And I know some people that have spent extensive amount of time really doing, you can't really call them deep fakes when you're doing them yourself, but doing quote unquote deep fakes of themselves, and creating videos. I even know one guy who has done it so much, and he has his team doing it so much that his own mom said, what could I do to block you from my whatever Facebook or Instagram feed, because it's all I ever get. And the funny part about it is when he told his mom, that's not actually me doing those videos, those are actually AI generated. She's like, no, it isn't. I know you. I'm your mom, because we do have technologically the way to be able to do that. But here's the thing. Okay, for those of you that don't know or haven't done any of those kind of things, here's the thing, all right? Because and I was at the AI conference a month and a half or so ago, and he taught specifically exactly how he does it. Number one, you need a minimum of a DSLR camera. Now you can get like somebody from someplace to do the video for you, so you don't have to actually buy one. You could just get somebody to do that one video. But you need, and it's, most of the systems will tell you 3 to 5 minutes. What you really need is about 3 hours of video of yourself. You need it to be headshot video. So like right now where I'm got my hands up here, you need to not do that. And if I ever did it, I'd have to I have to keep my hands down. You'd want to be wearing specifically something extremely generic. Like I have one of the shirts that I wear. This is pretty specific because I'm freezing here today. And so I've got my hoodie on top of, and even still I'm cold. I'm half tempted to put my gloves on even right now while I'm talking to you. Okay. Gives you an idea just how chilled I am today. But, you need something so that then when you do a head and shoulders kind of a view of yourself, and you talk directly into a high quality. So, I'm talking like 4K, 8K, digital, really high-end camera with good lighting and all the kind of things that are necessary to really capture that video. And you get about 3 hours of you doing that kind of a deal. Okay, so that you have a whole lot of nuances of your face and your facial features and your gestures and those kind of things. And part of the situation is that you've got to stay not robotic, but kind of still. So like I'm trying to do that for you right now. So you can see how my mouth is moving and how I'm doing things, but I'm trying really hard not to tilt my head or move my head. Although at some point in that, you need to look all the way to the left and all the way to the right, and look up and look down. And there's all of those different nuances that are in that in order for it to then be able to make a really, really, truly animated version of you. And that's using one particular program just for the video. There's a whole nother program that you need to have a consistent, high quality level of your audio. And then it can clone your voice as well. And you can then do, you can actually literally type out you could have one of your staff type out the text. However, even with all of that, the last about 20% of that needs to still be human interaction. And I have one of the guys that I'm excited that I'm working with, although the project's going a little longer than I expected it to. It still is super, super quick for what's going on. And he's doing full cinematic, bringing the actors in, having them do their parts on like green screen kind of things and bringing them into frame and all of that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of those kind of things that we can do to the point where, doing remote, like back in the day, if you think about Clint Eastwood movies and all of what we used to call spaghetti westerns. I suppose they probably still call them that. Where they had to go to, I believe it was Italy, which is why they're called spaghetti westerns, to do all that filming. Now you can do all of that pretty much basically in your own house. I mean, if you've got the right level of camera and those kind of things, and then the back end technicians can do all of that. So there's a lot of that cool kind of stuff. Now, I went a little deeper into those explanations than probably you wanted or needed. But again, that person saying the last 20%, we've got to look at it. Human beings have to look at it and look for the nuances of, oh yeah, we got to reshoot or animate that particular portion because the person was doing things, because if you do like what I'm doing where I'm talking with my hands, if you do that, AI will just randomly go like this, and it won't match up at all with what you're saying at the time. Whereas, and I don't know if this is really matching up with what I'm saying either, but I mean, it could just be random and your video will just go like that in the middle of it. And you need a human being to come in and do that last bit. Now, like you said, I went a little bit long in the explanation of that. And I'm trying to learn how to make these things shorter, but I wanted you to specifically understand, because the point is, the core of all of that is the human being. It's the person, it's the photo, it's the human that it's then cloning. Okay, it's not creating a brand new person. And yes, I know I've read all the articles about how, they now have the new actress that is completely AI generated. And I remember back in the day, what's his name made the movie called Sim One, and they named her Simone, and it was totally AI generated, totally computer generated. It was a little bit on the cutting cusp of what we really could do, kind of a situation. But the point is that even with those, they are AI taking a data set of, we want this color of hair, even if it was an imaginary color of hair, if it was something that, you've never seen a human being. And, let's face it, people have done some pretty whack colors on their hairs these days. But even if it was that, and even if it was a different color of eyes than what has ever been seen, in most cases, when they're making those, absolutely beautifully stunning AI characters, they're using characteristics. And whether they specifically take a specific actress and use her by name, or they take certain features, and some of what they're doing is taking, there's this feature from this person and this feature from this person, and they're putting together kind of sort of like, if you remember way back in the day, the movie Weird Science, where they put all that together and then they hooked it into a Barbie doll, and poof, it turned into Kelly LeBrock, much more stunning than a Barbie doll, by the way. And it's just, all of it took the imagination of the creator. The AI can take what you imagine and take it to levels that you just are blown away by what it can do. But in the end, it can't replace you. And in the end, if you want to make sales, which I know you do, that involves having a know, like, and trust factor with people. We buy from people that we know, like, and trust. Okay. And especially in these days, with AI being able to generate so much, we want to know that the person's for real. We want to love the person, hate the person, whatever it might be, because it's a real human being. That whole deeply visceral feeling. And I understand the concept of people who are now dating their AI girlfriend, or people who ate AI generated things, and all that kind of stuff. But those deep emotions, they come from things that are still based in the real. And when it comes to your capability to make sales, it comes from you being visible. So yes, you can use all the AI tools. I encourage you, please do. The most basic situation is to do like what I'm doing every day. You come on live for 15 or 20 minutes, and then you cut those up into what could be anywhere from 1 to 20 little 15 to 30-second clips. Because really, clips and reels and shorts and things like that are what is mostly what we're, collecting, what we're, it's the kind of content that we're consuming these days. But it still is based in you. And yes, you could bring in the AI team and have them take and clone you and all those kind of things, and have that kind of a deal. And I can tell you that they're going to spend the hours then doing that and putting it together, because the piece that comes before all of that is that thing that I'm always talking about: clarity. You need to understand who you are. You need to have a clear, powerful message to the people you're meant to reach. And then you need to do it consistently. The AI tools can bring in the consistency. They can't be your heartbeat. The AI doesn't really care whether you connect to people or not. They're going to be just as happy with their video, whether 100 million people watch it or nobody does. In point of fact, in most AIs, I was actually even reading an article that one of the pros that I know that works, that teaches in the AI realm, was talking about the fact that, the problem is that when you do something, AI is going to tell you it's great. And it may be great or it may be awful, and they're still going to tell you it's great. And there's some ways that you can get it to give you a more honest evaluation. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, this is amazing. You should go for it. And especially if you generate that video, it's going to tell you, oh, this is the most amazing video ever. You should put this out and it's going to totally go viral. Here you go. And it may or may not, because it can't give you that heartbeat, that desire to connect, that thing that makes you look at the statistics and go, this video only reached 20 people. This video only reached 200 people, whatever the number is. And it could be 20 million. And I can tell you from experience, people who I know who get videos that get 20 million views, they want more, because you just want to connect with more people, right? And it's that human connection. So AI can't give you clarity or connection. It can create the consistency for you. and you can do what Gary Vaynerchuk is recommending to people, and you can actually post 100 times a day. But if you don't have the heart to connect, if you don't have the clarity of your message, it's going to fall short, because visibility beats the strategy every minute. Okay. When you're visible as who you are, the strategy promotes it. The visibility is what wants to do it. Now, when we start talking specifically, we've been talking a lot and are going to continue to talk a lot about books. When it comes specifically to your book needs to be available where people are looking for books. Where is that? Well, on a minor scale, you could talk about Barnes and Noble and other bookstores and universities and libraries and things like that. The truth of the matter is 95% of all books that are sold are bought through Amazon, approximately. So, you need to be visible on Amazon. No matter what your other concept program plan for your book is, if you don't have the exposure on Amazon, you aren't going to get the visibility that you want. And that can be very simple. That is a process. That is then the strategy that promotes that visibility to make it visible on there. Not in a complex way, not in, the way that all these people are constantly, texting me and here, if we did this thing, and if we use, Google Marketplace, and if we use TikTok videos, and if we use this, and if we use that, if we do all these things, we can then, and what are all of them to do? They're to drive traffic to your book. When you've got a multi-trillion-dollar company that is built on the concept of we want to drive traffic to your book. So we do that on purpose, with a purpose. And that purpose is to serve the people that we want to connect with, and to do it consistently so that we're visible with our clear messaging. Does that make sense? If you're ready to be visible, if you're ready for your book to do what you always dreamt it was going to do, and then it never kind of did, now's the time. I have the program absolutely for you to show you how to be able to do it. And then actually not just show you, but just do it for you. And make sure that when you go to Amazon, your book is visible. Just like what we did with Magnetize Media. And we're going to continue doing ongoing things with Magnetize Media, to keep it in that top 5, top 10 ranking in at least that one category. And it can happen fairly quickly, but then the consistency comes in to keep it there so that you make a difference. And we've got that program for you. So drop the word AMP, A-M-P. Drop the word AMP in comments or send me a direct message. Let's get you the visibility you need. Let's make your message, your book, the things that you've done, let's make them visible. Let's bring the real you to the world. We can talk about all the AI tools, and if you want to do that in that conversation, I absolutely would love to have that with you. But at the end of the day, it's all about making you visible so that we can then put you in front of the people so that people know you, they like you, and they trust you. And then they want to work with you, because that's going to be always the heart and soul and core of what's always going to be who we buy from. It's people that we know, we like, and we trust. You ready to do it? Drop the word AMP, A-M-P, into the comments or send me a DM right now, and let's get you visible today. Because here's the thing. You can't sell what no one sees. Visibility. They got to see it in order to be able to want to buy it. I hope that you got some stuff out of that. I hope that you're happy, safe, much warmer than I am, and you feel deeply, deeply loved. And until we're together again next time, which will be tomorrow, when we're talking about your book is still the best business card if people can find it. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And until we're together again next time, I hope you have a great week.